Do more, get more.
What is going on, Guam? I'm Jason Salas, and we are coming to you from Harmon, back to work. Everybody's happy to be back here, and we are happy to be seeing you on the other side of the bandwidth. This is the HotSpot, and here is what we got for you today.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
Here's what we're working on today in the show. 20 pounds of meth has been seized. In national headlines, we'll give you the very latest on the FBI's investigation of former President Donald Trump and details on GTA's Youth Leaders Program and how high school juniors and seniors can apply. Well, also, we're going to tell you about the Miss Saigon. We're going to take you to the stage. We're going to celebrate the art of stagecraft a little later in the show. But first off, a little over 20 pounds of methamphetamine was seized from federal law enforcement officers, according to several recently unsealed court documents in district court. In all, a total of more than 9,100 gross grams of meth with a street value of about $1.3 million was seized in the mail. The search warrants were executed by the feds for 9 parcels between February of 2021 and this past March. The largest amount, better than 3,600 gross grams, was sent to a package in Concord, California, to a residence in Santa Rita. Several other packages were sent from addresses in California, including Lancaster, Woodland Hills, North Hills, 2 from Rancho Dominguez, San Diego, and Adelanto. 1 package came from Puyallup, Washington. No arrests and charges have been filed as of. Police are still seeking the public's help locating 45-year-old Cheryl Borja, who's wanted for questioning in an ongoing investigation. She was last seen at a home on Sergeant Henry Peretta Street over in Barrigada. She stands about 5'1" and weighs 110 pounds and has a fair complexion with black hair and brown eyes. She also has a tattoo of roses on her body. Police said she's known to frequent several areas in central Guam, in Barrigada on Manabusan Road, over in Bel Air Apartments in Manilao, at J.A. Pangilinan Street in Jonya, and Via de Este Apartments in Mongmong, as well as Taluba Street in Totu. GPD also adds that Borja is believed to be avoiding authorities and will flee if spotted. If you have any information on Borja or you know where she may be, contact your local police precinct or leave an anonymous tip at guam.crimestoppers.com. The FBI agents who searched the former president's home were told to look for signs that official records had been altered, destroyed, or concealed. That's according to a search warrant a federal judge unsealed on Friday. Here's the very latest.
The warrant used to search former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home was released by the Justice Department Friday. It shows the FBI seized more than 20 boxes, some containing documents marked top secret and above, and according to CBS News sources, likely include highly sensitive communication intercepts. The search warrant indicates that Trump is being investigated for potential violations of the Espionage Act and 2 other laws.
Donald Trump is a one-man crime wave.
Democrats say this is more evidence that the former president has no respect for the rule of law, while Republicans are rallying behind their party leader.
We cannot tolerate this in America, where our great institutions are welded and abused in such a way to defeat people's political enemies.
In a statement, the former president said the documents seized were declassified and that he would have provided them if asked.
Simply declassifying information does not solve the problem for the former president.
Jessica Levinson is a CBS News legal contributor. She says it is unclear what comes next.
We still don't know what's in the documents they found, and we would need to know that really to know what happens next in the investigation.
The FBI also took handwritten notes, 2 photo binders, information about the president of France, and a document about the pardoning of Trump ally Roger Stone. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Utilities news for you now, as the Guam Power Authority has announced that the 3 baseload units remain offline, and as a result, rotating outages lasting up to an hour have been slated for this evening. Hopefully not during the Westworld season finale. GPA is making every effort to provide sufficient power supply to meet the island's demands, yet current conditions could continue through Wednesday. The PD8 unit is now anticipated to return to service on August 16th, with Cabras 2 on Wednesday. Once the units are operational, power interruptions should cease as supply will meet demand. The load shedding schedule is posted on GPA's website and social media profiles, including Instagram and Facebook. Everyone is asked to conserve energy, most especially between 6 to 9 which is when power demand is highest and the time period load shedding is most likely to occur. Well, this morning, a groundbreaking ceremony was held at the Fishermen's Co-op at the Gregorio D. Perez Marina in Hagatna. The groundbreaking is part of the dock and shoreline reinforcement and enhancement project and was made possible with the assistance of GITA, the Port Authority, and the Guam Hot Bond. Our Nestle Conta will have more later on. The Vice President of the FSM, Yosiwo George, passed away on Sunday, according to an official government of the FSM post. He served as the First Lieutenant Governor of Koshrai between 79 and 80, and then as its Director of Department of Social Services. He served as the Governor of Koshrai for 2 terms from 1983 to 1991. He was then appointed by President Bailey Alter to serve as the ambassador to the FSM to the UN, where he served for 3 years. George ran for Senate in the 10th FSM Congress, where he served as a senator for 4 years. He was then later appointed as ambassador of the FSM to the U.S. He became the 8th vice president of the FSM in 2015. 4 years after that, he ran for a state of Koshrai's at-large seat again, where he served until his passing. Vice President George's statement said, exemplified in his personal and professional life the FSM's foreign policy of being a friend to all and enemy to none, and extending to all peoples and nations peace, friendship, cooperation, and love. In late July, George was hospitalized in Pohnpei as a result of COVID. Former President George was 81 years old. Back to news about Guam. A celebration was held Thursday night at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse to recognize the National Sea Grant College Program, officially designating the UOG Sea Grant as a Sea Grant Institute. With the new designation, UOG is now both a land grant and a Sea Grant institution. Joe Nugent-Charfers has more.
The University of Guam Sea Grant program launched more than 2 decades ago, and in the spring of this year, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration officially approved UOG Sea Grant's institutional designation. What this means? It will bring more resources for the program to do better marine coastal resource science and outreach with the island community. Director Dr. Austin Shelton said the journey to receiving such a landmark institutional status started late last year when the program underwent a rigorous review.
Just last year in October, we went through a very comprehensive 2-week review where we were looked at for our productivity, for the type of science that we're doing, for the partners that we are able to bring together. And the National Sea Grant Program and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has found that we meet all of these standards of excellence, and they've officially designated us as a Sea Grant Institute.
The UOG Sea Grant program is one of 34 Sea Grant programs nationwide and is not only the youngest, it's also the smallest. According to Jonathan Pennock, director of the National Sea Grant College Program, the UOG Sea Grant program demonstrated excellence in research, education, and public service dedicated to the environmentally responsible management and development of Guam's marine and coastal resources. To acknowledge such an achievement, a ceremony and celebration was held Thursday night at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse with educational outreach, food, giveaways, and entertainment.
We really look forward to expanding the impact that we're going to be able to have here, and so we look forward to reaching out and continuing to work with all of the amazing partners on Guam to have a sustainable future for all of us.
Reporting for KUAM News, I'm Joe Nugent-Charfers.
Well, last week, our friends at GTA officially launched their Youth Leader program for the new school year. The initiative is open to high school juniors and seniors, showcasing young leaders who create positive change in the community while excelling in academics. Now, let's take you now live where our Daniel Perez is at GTA's Experience Center, and he is with former KUAM reporter, and a very, very good one, Michelle Cadahay, and we've got some friends. Hi, Daniel.
Top of day, everybody. Joining me is our friends from GTA to talk about their youth program that just launched. And of course, with me is the Community Relations Manager, Michelle Cadahay Perez, and Kirsha Tyson. She is the Corporate Relations Coordinator. So, Michelle, this youth program, it sounds super fun, super exciting. Please tell us more about it.
Sure. You know, GTA has been such a big advocate of our youth empowerment, right? We want to cultivate our young leaders and get them to really succeed in life, right? So in 2019, GTA created the Youth Leader Program, and this was when we decided to really have a scholarship opportunity for those kids who could apply, right? And so it was, at the time, it was open to high school students. This time around, it's actually open to high school juniors and seniors. And what's nice about it is there's such a great pool of talented kids in fact, it's every time we have our vote, people in our company sitting to vote on who would be the next youth leader, it's really so competitive. Just last year alone, we had about 40 applicants. And I think this year is we're going to probably get the same amount. This year itself, like I said, it's open to high school seniors and juniors. And what we're doing is instead of having 5 youth leaders this year, we're going to have top finalists, and they will receive the latest and greatest phone with a year's service. And we're going to pick from among the finalists top 2, a male and a female, to win the youth leader prize. And so we're really excited about it. Maybe Kersha can talk a little bit about how to apply. But this has just been a big project of ours, and it's really nice to see that our youth leader in the past are really excelling in college, doing their thing, and really making their mark.
Right, so all they really have to do, I guess, is just really study hard, and they'll have a super cool phone on top of being a youth leader. But of course, I'm pretty sure this is open to all high schools, both private and public, correct?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So eligible for all juniors and seniors of any schools on Guam. And the application process is really simple. It's just on our website. And this year we did something different where you're able to, of course, you have to put in information, what school you're from, your grades and everything. But for the essay questions, we have 2 options. We know some students prefer to do, an essay if that's easier for them. We also have a video option. So we know a lot of kids are really creative now. Everyone's on TikTok, social media. So they can also answer their questions that way by just uploading a video of them like saying it or putting something cool together for us.
So, of course, Krisha, to apply for this youth leadership program, what are the requirements and the eligibility?
Eligibility really is just, of course, like we said, current student, junior, senior on Guam, and then also a 3.5 cumulative GPA. And really that's the basic requirements. Aside from that, we just ask on your applications, you add what your extracurriculars are, maybe community involvement, volunteer work, and just tell us a little bit about yourself. And aside from those 2 things, everything else is just what you've been up to. All
right, well, juniors, seniors, now's your chance. This opened last week, and it'll go up until September 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, thank you so much, Michelle. So, guys, high school juniors and seniors, if you are book smart, street smart, whatever smart, you can totally apply for this. But Kersha and Michelle, is there anything more you would like to add about the?
For sure. So I mentioned the top finalists, though they will receive the phone and service, but the top winners will actually receive the phone service plus $1,000 scholarship and 160,000 miles to attend competitions.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's really amazing because the students that were able to attend, they were able to go to music camp. We just had in LA one of our youth leaders that was able to go to New York for a conference and whatnot. So, and beyond this, not only do we offer these opportunities, is we also try to take our team, our group of youth leaders, and really try to cultivate them. So we have little workshops throughout the year. We get them involved in our volunteer program, and we get them just out there in the community. And just last year alone, we were able to have a scholarship on resume building. We had one before about elevator pitches, and just really getting them to really start their journey of becoming leaders. And I really wanted to mention Kersha too, because Kersha has experience in applying for scholarships, and she also sees the need for these type of things. Maybe you want to share a little bit, Kersha?
Yeah, of course. I really think that our program is so special because a lot of different scholarship programs go for seniors, and because this opportunity is open for juniors and seniors, it's the perfect way for them to, they're kind of at the end of their high school career, trying to figure out what they want to do next, where they want to go to school, what they want to study. And so signing up for our program not only helps them through the workshops we have, but also being able to use the mileage to maybe go visit a college that they want to do. We had a student who was a junior last year, and she went to check her prospective colleges. And so being able to be in a program like that, especially on Guam, where 160,000 miles is a lot, like you said, and that can really help them kind of get ready for the next stage. So this program has so many potential, and I think our current leaders are doing so great with what the resources they've given. Yeah, and so can't wait for the next group.
So for the mileage that they can also get, visit schools, I do know that you guys also mentioned that they can also use it for competitions, both academic and active, like sports.
Yes,
all
yeah.
that.
So last year we actually had an athlete also. His name is Marky Mazu. He actually used that mileage to get to college and whatnot, but he was going to sports opportunities with like Abu Dhabi, competing. What's really cool about it is we're seeing, you're going to see our Youth Leader campaign, and you're going to see what these youth leaders are doing now. So Avinash Dhanraj is one of our first youth leaders with Astia Mendiola, and they're really doing well in college. I think that Avi is really getting into cybersecurity, so he's studying at ASU. We have Astia Mendiola doing amazing in volleyball. We also have Lexus Sablan. I can go on and on because we have so many youth leaders, but Lexus Sablan got a full ride scholarship to Columbia University, and she's also interning at Amazon. So really cool stuff, when we see them through becoming a youth leader, to finishing high school, to really excelling in their college. Really great opportunities.
Really big things. Well, once again, high school juniors and seniors, if you do want to apply, all you have to do is head to GTA's website, and that is gta.net. Anything else to add, guys? Any closing remarks?
Just really excited. Come out. Don't put yourself out there. Don't be shy. And just really come out and apply. It won't take much for you to, do this, and then you get the opportunities as well. So.
All right, guys. Thank you so much to Michelle and to Kirshna for explaining the youth leadership program that GTA has, and it's open until September 8th. So, guys, check it out. Jace, back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks so much, Daniel and Kirshna. Michelle still got it. She never lost it. She's really, really good. And thanks to our friends at GTA for putting that amazing program together. And once again, if you would like to find out more or hopefully apply, you can check out www.gta.net. All right, please stay tuned, everybody, because when the Hotspot continues, we take a look at your weather coming up this week. And still to come, we take you to the stage. Our buddy Max Ronquillo stops by for the first time in 2 years. Max is going to be in the house, and that is coming up.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Lunches, snacks, we got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Well, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News Hotspot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes. Weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
As the Decision 2022 race shapes up, keep it with KUAM News for all the news you need to know as you head to the polls. From weekly candidate profile analysis on the Hub on KUAM News Hotspot to our online candidate directory on KUAM.com, special features on KUAM Digital and KUAM News Primetime, plus live coverage of forums and debates. We're your one-stop source on every platform. Stay informed with KUAM News, your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
With Pacific Points, your everyday expenses could be helping you save. Earn points at Shell, Foodies Guam, and IT&E. Then redeem for awesome rewards. Want free fuel from Shell or snacks from Foodies Guam? What about discounts on your IT&E bill, free IT&E prepaid cards, or United Mileage Plus miles? Sign up for free today. Visit PacificPoints.com or download the app. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam On Demand.
All right, my friends, Hotspot continues right here on KUAM, and thank you so much for watching. Now, it is a tradition here on your mid-morning show that, of course, every Monday we give you a look at the weather, and typically we bring on Landon Idlet, but we are switching it up a little bit. We're going to bring in the Dinga. We're going to bring in his twin brother, Brandon, who is actually the older one. So Brandon joins us now from his office at the National Weather Service. Brandon, always good to see you, man. Half a day.
Likewise, half a day. Good morning, and how's everybody doing?
We are doing fantastic over here. I mean, we have been blessed with amazing weather. I think I've only been rained out when I go outside to exercise once in the last week. And so we're sitting pretty over here. But, you know, there was an advisory, I must ask you, that came out from the folks over at Homeland Security and Civil Defense last week. And they were saying that there may be some tropical disturbances that may be passing through the region. And it's expected, perhaps, that likelihood thing, to bring a lot of the wet stuff our way this week. Is there any indication that that may be true?
That's right. And so we had discussed that in the office here. We're looking at a number of disturbances that are just kind of going to be parading through the region. And for mid-August, that is quite on par with what we see this time of year, as wet season takes a deeper hold of the region and we start seeing more disturbances move through. And this time of year, there's more moisture content available in the atmosphere. And also some of these disturbances have a better chance of surviving several days. Some of them become slightly better developed, and then a few of them go on to continue developing, eventually becoming tropical depressions or even tropical storms. But fortunately, right now, there are no major candidates to develop into a tropical storm, although we have seen some recent tropical cyclones far to our west and far to the northwest, as we just saw a tropical storm graze along the southern coast of Japan the past couple of days. But let me take you out, I'll switch my camera around and show you a little bit of the latest satellite and radar. And right now, across the Marianas, we are quite dry, as Jason alluded to. There's not a whole lot of rain to speak out about. We just have the typical small showers, nothing that's going to really soak you. If you have a shower over your head at the moment, just wait a few minutes, it'll clear out. But if we look at the satellite, it's pretty dry out there. We do have some cirrus clouds kind of blowing off from the north. That has kind of diminished the bright kind of penetrating sunlight that would really kind of heat you up during the daytime. But that cirrus is going to eventually blow off to the south. It's going to thin out, and we're going to see more of that blue sky popping up later on today. But As I mentioned just a moment ago, we're seeing some of these disturbances across the region. And so Guam is right here in the middle of your screen. We have a large disturbance that pushed up to the northwest out of Palau and Yap region. And I would just pan the camera over, or at least the satellite over. This system is going to keep on pushing up into the northern Philippine Sea. It will have no bearing on the Marianas weather. However, we're going to shift over to the southeast. And so there's Guam and the Marianas in the top left corner. And then Chuuk State is right here in the middle. Now, there's a couple of things I want to point out to you. We have been mentioning, well, last week we had a couple of marine weather statements. We had some special marine warnings, strong wind gusts with some thunderstorms. And so we actually see the evidence of that right now in satellite. And so with this pile of the cloud cover right here, let me see if my finger is there. We can get my finger on the screen. There's a little line of clouds that's running ahead of these thunderstorms, and those clouds are shooting out pretty fast. We see that quite often. And of course, the past several weeks, we've seen a number of these events over the Marshall Islands, having brought 30, 35 knot wind gust over the coastal waters. So that's something that we're watching out for Chuuk. But there's also the possibility we could see some of that later on this week across the Marianas. Right now, we are in the dry wedge across the region, and we're going to stay fairly dry for the next couple of days. But this disturbance is going to shift to the west, and we could see a disturbance taking root just along the west side of the Marianas in the latter half of the week. So what do we expect with that? Ultimately, we could see winds coming up a little bit stronger in the beginning Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, and then the rainfall potential will definitely be increasing. So right now it's still pretty early in the game. Only one computer model is showing any substantial rainfall for the Marianas. However, the other models still show a bit of a surface trough across the region. So we're not too particularly concerned, but it's something that we are watching for the potential for additional development. But as we see anything start to take more concrete shape, we'll definitely be communicating that very widely here on social media and with all of our government partners at Civil Defense. But right now, the latest forecast, we are still looking at fairly calm sea conditions. We're looking at combined seas of 3 to 5 feet for the next several days. Great conditions in the surf. Just a moderate risk of rip currents of 3 to 5 foot surf on the east side of the islands. And then otherwise, we're looking at 1 to 3 foot surf along southwest and north facing reefs. But always keep in mind, if you're out there on the beach and the bays, use the buddy system. Make sure somebody knows exactly where you are at all times, and practice safe boating and safe swimming practices. Otherwise, that's all I got for you weather-wise. Jason, any questions?
Yeah, I was going to say, is there any indication? Because I mean, I totally appreciate, the fact that you're breaking this down in a very palatable form. Like, it's super easy for like a noob like me, when it comes to understand weather and what we can expect. But Brandon, do you have any indication that if those systems, they may or they may not develop, but the fact that you said they are expected to contain somewhat heavy rains, I'm already thinking, some of the things that are common here, even if we're not in full-on storm mode, there could be parts of the island, typically in the south, that may flood. There may be certain roadways that become impassable. There may be utilities concerns that, like the folks say, if it gets very, very windy, trees may become compromised or anything. Is there any indication at this point, Brandon, that those systems contain that kind of strength or could impact us in those ways?
Good question. Well, right now, we're not seeing anything that would be offering those conditions, long-lived situations, so multiple hours of strong winds. But with some of these showers and thunderstorms that could be heavy at times, just those infrequent, short-lived gusts could definitely bring some limbs down. So it's always advisable for residents to look around your yards, look around your neighborhoods. GPA does have a hotline. Sorry, I don't know the number right off the top of my head right now, but they do have a hotline that people can call in. If there are limbs that are brushing against power lines, they've got crews working every day. I wouldn't say 24/7. They've got to rest at some point, but they do have GPA crews that are out there working on mitigating some of the trees that could come into contact with the power lines and ultimately affect the power storage or power use across the island. But otherwise, What other things can residents do? Communicate with your local mayors. Do you have clogged storm drains? And even today, we had some heavy showers just pushed through Tamuning very quickly, no more than 10 minutes, but there was standing water. There was just a torrent of water running down the road, Challenge San Antonio. And it takes a while for the drains to recover from that. Even if the drains are clear, it's just the tropical rainfalls can come down very heavy, very intense, and even a quick shower will result in some standing water that the drains just can't keep up with, just the nature of the beast. So communicate. That's the most that we can do. Communicate with the local government, with the mayor's offices, and as a team, we can definitely mitigate some of these long-standing effects of the weather.
Okay, well, Brandon, you were mentioning using the buddy system, and that is something here, like at KUAM, we absolutely agree for safety. It's just a smarter thing to do, right? So I'm going to be your buddy. And since you mentioned GPA's number, that number, I actually Googled it. So if you need to put in a trouble call, like Brandon was just saying, very, very good tip. Their number is 671-475-1472. That number again, 671-475-1472 or 3 or 4. If you see anything like, down power lines, first of all, stay away from them. Second of all, please put that call in because GPA will get right on it. And also, shrubbery, trees, branches, anything that may occlude, in the middle of the street in somebody's house. And if for whatever reason you think that anything's out of the ordinary, just give the good folks at GPA a call and they'll set you up.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. So one thing I do want to ask, Brandon, now you are a meteorologist, you study weather systems and everything. And I got to ask you, I am not. I've said I'm a noob before, I'm getting better with you and your brother's help, as well as everybody over there at the NWS, right? One thing I've never been able to figure out, man, is why you guys always say it's between 2 to 4 inches of rain expected. I can bring out like a cup and that thing can be filled in 30 seconds. And that's like at least 6 inches. So what does that mean when you guys say a certain number of inches of rainfall?
Yeah, well, let me just draw this out for you. And so I'm just drawing a quick little chart. And so it's a little bit of statistics. I hope you can read this okay, but it's like a bell curve. So yeah, and so the teachers kind of work with bell curves on occasion, and I've benefited and not benefited from in the past, but so I got 2 to 4 inches right there in the center. And so we're looking at a lot of computer models, and when it comes to the nature of tropical rainfall, there's a lot of variability with tropical storms, typhoons. Even with typhoons, you get hit by the eye wall of a typhoon, and location just 3 miles away, we'll see a completely different amount of rainfall. So in some of the past tropical cyclones, we saw 24 inches of rain in one portion of Guam in a single day. And then just a few miles away, 15, 16, 17 inches, considerably less. I mean, it's a substantial amount of rainfall, but it changes with very small distances. And outside of tropical cyclones, we get these thunderstorms, and we're looking at thunderstorms all over Micronesia. And we look at the subsequent rainfall observations, and we're astounded often how little rainfall was measured. But often that is because the thunderstorm might look that big on satellite, but the actual thunderstorm, the really heavy rain, is just a small little dot in that cloud cover. So it's hard to see in my finger depiction. So that might be the thunderstorm, and the heavy rain is just on one little spot. And we can use the satellite imagery to see where those coldest cloud tops are that signify the strong uplifting motion. That's what the heavy rains are. And so quite often, in the cloud is where the rain gauge was, and it just got light rain. So we do see that highly variable rainfall amount across these disturbances. And as we go into 3, 4, 5 days out time frame, there's really no, if anybody were to say they could give you an exact estimate of rainfall, they would be lying to you. 3 to 5 days out, even a well-formed disturbance is really hard to predict, because unless it is a typhoon, it could easily fall apart in 3 to 5 days. So a surface trough that we're tracking near Wake Island that is expected to come near the Marianas, well, what is the nature of its of its convective potential. Is it going to be a thriving thunderstorm producer, or is it going to go into a cyclical pulse where for 6 hours active thunderstorms, and then 12 hours it's kind of dissipated, and then it resurges another 6 hours later? And we see that a lot. And so the way we try to communicate these potentials is talk about this feature that is moving through the Marianas, and then we try to relate that to the potential for heavy rainfall. And so a lot of times we have seen very heavy rainfalls estimated in the radar imagery just offshore, and signifying the case that we have missed out on some significant flooding, which is a good thing. There was a case that we had issued a flash flood warning for Yamatic. This was about a year ago. We saw some very heavy showers pushing up from the south. We issued a flash flood warning to go ahead and get that warning out to the mayor and the folks down south. And eventually the rainfall dissipated just before it came on shore. They did get some heavy rain, but the rain gauges down there indicated only about 1.5 inches of rain. Meanwhile, closer to Cocos Island, about 1.5 miles offshore, the radar indicated about 4 or 5 inches of rain, which is a substantial difference. And so a lot of times these systems do deliver, but we're fortunate that they deliver just offshore.
Very interesting. Okay, Dan, thank you, because I always wondered, what that was in terms of like volume and how it's measured and everything like that. Okay, I understand so much better right now. So Brandon A. Litt over at the National Weather Service, bringing you your work week weather forecast. Before I let you go, right, one more thing on the buddy system. I know a buddy of yours, actually a mutual buddy of ours, is coming up next year in the hotspot. Max Ronquillo, both of you have done so much for the island in terms of like music. You both worked with the Guam Territorial Band for years. He's coming up next, so I want to give you the opportunity to send a shout out to your boy and just like say hi.
Yes, good morning, Max. It's good to have a tag team with you this morning. Saw you yesterday at the rehearsal. And yeah, Max is up to this deep working with the Miss Saigon. So he's doing a fantastic job working with the orchestra, the singers. We've got a great talented set of cast members. And without taking too much of his thunder, I'll turn it over to you two.
Well, speaking of thunder, very well put from a weather guy, but you both have made very, very amazing sounds, amazing, like as they say, make a joyful noise unto the heavens and everything. And you guys have made a name for yourselves both doing that. So we appreciate both of you, and we're coming right back with Max. So Brandon, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it.
Y'all take care. Thank you.
All right, Max Ronquillo coming up right here on the hotspot.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam on Demand.
There's epic, then there's ultra epic. Capture life in vivid resolution with Galaxy's most advanced camera system and the built-in S Pen that puts you in control. Every moment, every angle, from sunrise to sundown and beyond. More striking, more stunning than ever. Find the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra at your nearest iTunes store or online at ite.net and change the way you work and play.
Lunches, snacks, we got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Say hello to the first Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be with Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
This year, we're expanding our Decision 2022 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes. Weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
Pacific Points is more rewarding with friends. Refer as many friends as you want. There's no limit. Referring friends is fast and easy. Simply log into your account on the app or website, then tap or click on Refer a Friend. Earn bonus points when they sign up and make a transaction. Earn 100 bonus points for every friend you refer. Pacific Points. Refer friends, get rewarded.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
We are back here live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on KUAM TV8. I'm Jason Salas, and this is the Hotspot. And folks, we've been telling you about this amazing exhibit over the Tumon Sands Plaza, Remember Saigon, from Vietnam to Guam, really shedding light on the connection between Saigon and our island, and the historical connection, the cultural connection. My guest right now, and you can see like right there some of the images as we go to this next interview, but my guest right now, a very good friend of mine, fellow Sanchez Shark, Max Ronquillo, who I have not seen in person in quite a while. And
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. And Max, I know we've interviewed you, I've interviewed you many, many times over the years. You've always worn various uniforms for your work with the U.S. military, with your work with the Guam Territorial Band. You have a very distinct manner of dress now, my friend.
So this is courtesy of Miko from Shangri-La Mall in Manila. So this is a traditional Vietnamese ao dai for men. Yeah, so the women have a nice, more elaborate, sexy one that goes. So this is what men would wear, and maybe also if they were to do a marriage or that type of thing, they'd probably have matching or alternating colors.
So this is considered like absolutely formal wear, like you would wear to like something to the degree
or
of like
cultural,
a wedding.
yes,
Yeah.
or yes,
Okay.
Probably I would say cultural rather than formal, because they'll use it probably even daily.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta say, even though like it's, you know, I mean, obviously you've got the collar that closes all the way and it goes like all the way down to your wrist. It looks very comfortable and it looks like it breathes incredibly well.
Very comfortable. This is a great thing to wear.
Given the
every day.
fact that it's pretty hot outside and you just got to our
Yes.
Harmon Studios and it's black and everything, you look
Thank
cool
you.
as a cucumber right
Thank
now.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
But more importantly is the rich, amazing culture of Vietnam and our own culture here, the connection and the shared heritage and the history that we both have. And this exhibit over the Tumon Sands Plaza that I was saying is a wonderful illustration of that.
Yes. So 2016, we did Miss Saigon at Southern High School, and I was pulled away from military duty, so I didn't get to do it. I really wanted to do this exhibit then, but I think it was just the wrong timing, or things were not in place. So unbeknownst to me, what was happening in the background is you saw the B-roll. Professor Gandhi was here in Guam doing research about what's being shown in the exhibit. And so that's how the exhibit came about. Miss Saigon is a popular show. It's been done all over the world except for Vietnam.
Oh, really? I never knew that.
As of now, it had not been because of the government that's there. I mean, the show is pretty.
Okay, we're going to talk about the play in just a minute. We've got the video up again, Max. Look at just the pieces, and there is the aforementioned Dr. Gandhi, who has really taken a lot of steps with her and her mother, also a doctor, really putting this beautiful exhibit together.
Right. So, and just tying it back to 2016, I really wanted to do this with the Vietnamese community and the veterans, and so the pandemic gave us an opportunity that we didn't need to be together, and we did all of this over 9 months, coordination through Zoom. So it was an international help from Professor Gandhi being in California. We had another scholar that was in Virginia, and we just did this and put it together. So I got here a few weeks ago to help assemble the exhibit, and burning my military leave, so that's what I've been doing. And I'm volunteering there as a tour guide, so if you come on the days, you may catch me. If not me, you'll meet a veteran or two who are also part of the exhibit. So the tie is, most people are unaware that Guam played a very big role during and after the Vietnam War. And so I don't want to spoil people giving you everything, but I just want to invite the public. This is, I'm an educator, and this is stuff that wasn't covered when we were in high school.
Right.
In depth. And
many people are just learning about Operation New Life and the historical significance of that event, and the fact that Guam housed Vietnamese refugees. They're just learning that now through this exhibit. Right.
So this exhibit is all Guam based. There was a 20-year plus war, and so Dr. Gandhi and I, we were trying to figure out how do we slim this down to a nice focus, and that was the focus, Guam's perspective of the war. And so you'll walk through, and you'll see stories of Chamorro, Guamanian service members who finally had enough guts to talk about their experiences, because there's a lot that don't want to talk about their experiences. It was pretty horrible for them. And the same for the Vietnamese refugees. A lot of them, there were 3,000 initially that stayed here in Guam, thanks to the help of the churches to help sponsor them. But many have moved on and created lives elsewhere. And so we don't really have a count of how many Vietnamese refugees from that original group in 1975 are still here in Guam. And it's okay. They needed to leave that country, their homeland, for that reason. And for a lot of them, they want to just leave it behind.
Well, I appreciate the fact, Max, that you brought up, like, a lot of the deep-seated memories are still very difficult.
Oh, it's very visceral.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you're not directly, connected to, to the culture of Vietnam, or, like you weren't around during that time locally, as you make your way through the exhibit and everything, like, what is the emotional impact that it has on anybody?
Well, many times that I've been as a tour guide, we get to a granite wall, which is a replica of the Vietnam War wall that's in Washington, D.C. But just with the Guam and CNMI names. And when people pass it and they see a loved one or a family member who's on that wall, we've had some people leave in tears. Because for a lot of them, especially the Vietnamese refugees and the veterans, they just want the public to know what they went through. They're not asking for any sympathy or anything. They just want, and this exhibit will help you have a basic understanding of what went on 47 years ago.
Absolutely. So very critical part of Guam history, and we want to invite you, everybody. It is open right now, Tuesdays through Sundays, starting at high noon through 6 p.m. over at the Tumon Sands Plaza. It runs through September 15th. Well, Max, while we have you here, we were talking about, Miss Saigon. We know you're a man of performing arts, and you said, that was your passion. I've known you ever since high school. You always grew up in music. You've now made music a part of your military service. As an educator, you've done that. This is one of the most timeless plays. And it plays in perfectly to, to the exhibit. I got to say, I remember discovering Miss Saigon because, of course, I'm a big fan for Lea Salonga when she performed in it. The music is incredible.
Yes. Music
As is the
incredible.
message.
Yes, it is. So Miss Saigon, for me, I have to give credit to the Guam Territorial Band. The Guam Territorial Band, Mr. Hardy was the director at the time, 1998. We were invited to represent Guam in the United Kingdom for a Lions Convention. And so the band placed second place. We had a night off. And they said, "Oh, hey, let's go down the West End and let's go see a show." I was like, "Okay, I don't know. This is my first time seeing a musical that I wasn't a part of. Here in Guam, I've been part of musicals since 1992, thanks to the great Benji Diola and others.
It's kind of weird being on the other side of the stage,
right?
Isn't it?
It was just, and so, you know, I had no clue about Vietnam War. I had an ROTC instructor who served in the war, but he hardly talked about it. I had a history teacher who served in the war too, and they hardly talked about it. But this musical has been in the back of my mind since 1998. So that's my first impression of it. And it wasn't until Marjorie Dancel said in 2015, "Hey, let's do Miss Saigon in Guam. I've got the license." I was like, heck yes.
That is the most difficult one. Actually,
Yes.
no, that is not the most difficult part. That's probably the most legal part, but certainly putting the play together and casting and really connecting with the story and the music.
Yeah, we partnered with Gate. We partnered with a lot of the local Magis is a choir of Ateneo alums that live here in Guam. Ateneo from the Philippines.
Sure.
And they usually they stick their head out during the June timeframe for Philippine independence, but they're around, and we pretty much showcased Guam's talent in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So,
now, as someone who's been involved with as many plays as you have, and you know done so much stagecraft, what makes Miss Saigon such a challenging production?
Well, it has to do with a lot of the misconception of the work. So it is rated PG-13, so there are some material that some parents may be reluctant to send their kids to. But I'll tell you, the show itself, we're doing the original Lea Salonga version from 1993, is a lot more tame than the revival that was recently released in 2014 and 2017. So for the parents that are watching, rest assured, they're not going to see anything worse than probably what they already see on their phones. It probably will be a lot more tame than most people would think. So from that's one of the hardest things that we needed to discuss. I remember someone saying in 2016 there was a protest out at the lobby of Southern High School because they just weren't probably they were not very familiar with the show and what its message is.
And thematically, I mean, there are some things in there that, you know, like maybe some parents might not, you know, necessarily prefer their kids learn, but there are some life lessons there that are timeless and that are universal to each of us, you know, regardless of where you come from.
If you would bring your child to Romeo and Juliet or anything of that sort.
Hamlet's pretty heavy if you think about it.
I think it's heavier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Henry V is brutal.
Yes. So this show would be
The Muppets Take Manhattan. I cry every single time I watch Miss Piggy and Kermit get married. That's no joke.
So this show would be a lot more tame compared to that. But what we do in the show, because it is filled with some inconsistencies, that's the reason why I was so passionate about doing the exhibit. Just out of respect for the veterans. We have a high number of veterans here. And then the Vietnamese community, we as Guamanians, many of them in 1975 opened their doors to 112,000 refugees that processed through here. So we are a big part of the Miss Saigon story, but we're not mentioned at all in the show. And of course, we can't change the show for licensing reasons.
And maybe that's the key point is, you know, under your tutelage and just being involved, you're going to do this as any self-respecting Guamanian would. You're going to do this accurately. You're going to do it true to the music, true to the story, but with also a deep sense of cultural respect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm privileged to announce, because I picked him up at the airport, one of our headliners is Ethan Lê Phong, who happens to be the first Vietnamese descent actor to be part of the Miss Saigon franchise, and he's going to be part of our show. So
that is amazing how the play is as old as it is, and
Only recently.
That is the key, yeah.
Only recently. And I can't remember if it was the 2014.
Hopefully the first of many.
Or the 2017. Well, yeah, there's many that followed after him.
Okay.
But he really broke the ice. And we're so privileged to have him be part of the show alongside the rest of the headliners we've got.
Okay. And I got to tell you again, the Lea Salonga's version of I Still Believe, guys, go look it up on YouTube.
Look it up.
The harmony when the two ladies break into like
Yes.
that one part and they do the duet. I mean, I don't care who you are. If that doesn't give you chicken skin, you know, you better check your pulse. So
Right, and that's what we want to give the audience here. It costs money to go to Broadway, but we can provide it to you right here for as little as $25, or if you want a premium seat, up to what was it, $175, $150.
yeah. And I can vouch for this. If this is a Max Ronquillo production and everything, it is going to be top-notch stuff because the man right here never fails to let us down.
Yeah, well, we all are. It's a huge team. Maybe we have 200, including the cast, the crew, the orchestra, the pit chorus. There's going to be about 200 of us working behind the scenes to make this masterpiece come to life for the people of Guam.
Okay.
We have 5 shows. We want everybody to come out. I have been a big community volunteer for music for many years, as you know.
Sure.
Especially with the Guam Territorial Band. I don't get paid for that. That's a volunteer job.
Okay, real quick, I got about 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the band and what's going on with the band right now.
Sure. Yeah, so the band's always looking for members. So if you're interested, please email gtband@gmail.com. Reach out to Jessica Pangilinan. We need a lot of even young folks to join the band. You're never too young or old to join that band. The band is the blood and soul of Guam's music, and I'd like to support it. And I'd like the public to support it as well.
I can say in my time here at KUAM, I've literally seen maybe 2 entire generations of musicians come through the program.
Yeah.
Each and every one said it was one of their life's greatest honors to be able to join other talented musicians, to be able to perform, to be able to represent Guam, and to just do what they love with other people who feel exactly as they do.
Yes.
So.
Can I do one last plug?
Please.
The organization putting together Miss Saigon and the exhibit is the Guam Philharmonic Foundation, which I'm one of the co-founders. And we have started the Tumon Bay Youth Orchestra in 2018. I think you interviewed them a few months ago. And so by the end of the month, I'd like to invite anyone who with at least 3 years playing experience, age 25 or younger, to be part of the orchestra. For all of this information, whether it be Miss Saigon, the exhibit, or Tumon Bay Youth Orchestra, you can go to guamphilharmonic.org for all the information.
All right.
And we'd love to have you join the orchestra.
All right, Max, you are truly a man of stage, a man of music, a man of service and everything, and we greatly appreciate all of it. You're also a really nice guy. So.
Thank you, Jason.
All right.
Thank you, and thank you to the people of Guam for your continued support over the years.
All right, we're back right after this.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
This year, we're expanding our Decision 2022 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Lunches, snacks. We got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Say hello to the first Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
Pacific Points is more rewarding with friends. Refer as many friends as you want. There's no limit. Referring friends is fast and easy. Simply log into your account on the app or website, then tap or click on Refer a Friend. Earn bonus points when they sign up and make a transaction. Earn 100 bonus points for every friend you refer. Pacific Points. Refer friends, get rewarded.
All right, welcome back to the Hotspot, everybody. Real quick, we want to tell you about our weekly question. So here is what we have. Gentlemen in the back, each and every week we ask you and we solicit your feedback on social media. So we want to know. Of course, there are two candidates running for this year's elected Attorney General. The incumbent Levin Camacho or Attorney Douglas Moylan. Both of them encyclopedic knowledge of law, both accomplished members of our legal community. They want you to vote for them. Whom do you support? The incumbent, Levin Camacho, or former, and actually the very first Guam's elected Attorney General, Doug Moylan? Make sure to cast your vote on our social media platforms and let us know what you think about that. We'll bring you the results later on this week. All right, Max is here and we are going to close out the show, but Max, please tell people where they can get tickets for Miss Saigon, please.
So right now we're working on getting locations for physical locations, but for now, you could go to MissSaigonGuam.com.
Very nice.
Yes, very easy. MissSaigonGuam.com.
Okay, and real quick, Max was mentioning the ROTC instructor he had when he was at Sanchez. We actually have the same ROTC instructor, so shout out to our very good friend, retired First Sergeant Daniel T. Mindiola, one of Sinahanya's finest. He's also the a veteran of the Vietnam conflict, who actually put together the Veterans Memorial over in Manilao. And you said he's actually a volunteer with this project.
Right, he helped out with putting some artifacts on display for the exhibit as well.
Yeah, really yes. Like a second father figure to us both and many of hundreds of cadets who made it through his program. So shout out to First Sarge. First Sarge, we love you. Thank you for watching, everybody. We're out of time. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.